differently this morning. We thought we'd jump on together and talk about
Parasites.
where your first exposure to parasites is.
It's in utero, which a lot of people don't realize. And often when we work with children or babies as well, it's like, how can my child at this young age already have exposure to these things? And it's not just parasites. There's many other things that they're going to have exposure to as well. Because if mom has gut inflammation, if mom has parasitic infection or toxins in her system, it's going to impact the baby as well. So, I mean, why are we talking about parasites today?
Because tomorrow's the full moon.
Yeah.
And we talk about this quite often because, well, it happens once a month, usually, maybe sometimes twice, depending on the schedule. Parasites are affected by the full moon. It causes them to be more active. They cause symptoms for you, and that's worse around the full moon because they are basically made up of water, and with the tides changing around this time of month, that causes them to be more active. There's also the element of the serotonin. I don't know if you want to touch on that.
Yeah, serotonin and melatonin, which are two hormones in the body. I mean, serotonin is our happiness hormone, and that's converted to melatonin, and melatonin is really important for sleep. And around the full moon, these aren't at the normal levels where they typically are. And when melatonin is actually lower, that's what can lead to more active parasites in our system. A lot of people will have problems with sleeping around the full moon, and the dip in melatonin and the hyperactivity of the parasites can really contribute to this. So, I mean, we wanted to talk about some of the symptoms that people will experience. And we often don't even think about this because this is symptoms that can be related to other things as well. And it may be things that you've been dealing with for your whole life. And that can lead to, oh, it's my normal headache, or it's the normal insomnia, or the normal whatever. But every symptom has a cause. And it's about figuring out why you're having the symptoms you're having. So, Amanda, do you want to talk about some symptoms?
The first thing I thought of was your story related to hockey and what everyone on the team was experiencing. And I've experienced it as well. Anyone in your family, have you noticed they are grinding their teeth? Is this something that you've noticed at night when, yes, I know, when they're sleeping? And I don't really know what that totally sounds like because I'm the one doing it. You tell your story about the hockey team.
Yeah, I went to hockey. It was last year, I think, sitting in the dressing room, and one of the girls was talking about how she had a dentist appointment coming up to get something fixed in her mouth because she'd been grinding her teeth for so long. And I was like, whoa, like alarm bells went off in my head. And I was like, oh, did you know that that could be a parasite thing? It's commonly associated with that. And many people don't recognize that. And when the one girl started talking about, oh, I grind my teeth, the whole locker room chimed in and they were like, oh, I grind my teeth too. And it's been a problem for a long time. My kids grind their teeth. It's something that many people deal with and don't realize that this could be because there's parasites in your system. And when I mentioned it to this girl, she was like, oh, my whole family does that. That as well. Like if you have parasites, I mean, especially there's certain ones that are more contagious than others, but if you have parasites in your system, your family probably does too. You live in the same environment, you eat the same foods, you experience a lot of the same things.
Yeah.
You're probably all going to have parasites.
So not just teeth grinding. There is like a plethora of symptoms that you could deal with, from anxiety. You could have allergies, arthritis. Some kids could actually have bedwetting as a result of parasite exposure, gassiness, constipation, diarrhea. You can kind of be going back and forth between the two, constipation, diarrhea. You can have headaches. It's just a list here. As you said, insomnia is a thing, food sensitivities, chronic fatigue, anemia is a big one. Anemia is a big one for women. They like to eat your red blood cells, so that can affect your iron levels and affect your energy. And that's a whole other issue too on the iron front. But this is something you need to be aware of and need to know about in order to get it better. And it's just something we're told is not an issue in North America. And North America is not in a bubble from the rest of the world, or even your pets. Your pets, they have annual check-ins. They have medications they take for parasites. Are parasites not able to kind of cross paths with us? Are we, again, in our own little bubble and that we can't be affected? We have this force field. It's not the case, unfortunately. It's a reality that we also experience parasites. And I'm jumping to, if anyone out there has cats and if anyone's ever been pregnant, what have you been told not to do?
Change the litter.
Why is that?
Toxoplasmosis.
Yep, you've got it.
No, you say it.
Toxoplasmosis.
Yeah.
The concern is that this parasite is going to become airborne as the litter is being changed. And then you're going to inhale that in, and that's going to cause problems. Why is that different when you're pregnant only? What about every other day if you're not having a child, or other people in your family who are not having a child? It's mind-boggling how in this instance you could be exposed to parasites, but not this one.
Yeah, it's very interesting. And it's not a sign that you're dirty. Like that's often when I'll tell a client, you're testing for parasites and it's something that we need to deal with. Some people are like, oh my God, does that mean that I'm not clean? Does that mean that I'm not doing things properly? And it's like, no, it means you're living your life. If you're eating food, you can be consuming parasites and they can end up in your system. Drinking water, walking barefoot in the grass, cuddling with your pets. If your pets sleep in your bed, you probably have parasites. If you have pets, you probably have parasites. If they lick your face, you probably have parasites. Like there's just so many reasons, and it's just a part of life. And they're typically not a problem. Like our immune system is always trying to take care of them, but it's one of the stressors that we test people for. And when your body has a lot of stresses going on in the system, there comes a time where it's going to need help and going to need support. And so, that's why we wanted to talk about parasites today, because it's so underappreciated in the Western parts of the world. And it's like, if you're not getting better, or if you have things that keep coming back, we need to figure out why. And parasites could be a reason behind that.
Yeah, there was actually a reel yesterday that I posted in regards to, are you noticing people are acting different at all in the last few days? Are they acting maybe a little more hyped up or anxious? Like we've both worked in retail over the years and have noticed you've got that saying around the full moon. It must be the full moon because people are just acting a bit nuttier than usual. This goes for anyone in the emergency services or even teachers. I know I've talked to a teacher a couple weeks ago and kind of, they brought it up how the kids were acting differently. And it's like, yeah, I forgot about that. The poor teachers have to deal with this as well. And I can't imagine a classroom full of kids around the full moon.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, what parasites do in our body as well, they eat our neurotransmitters, which is where, all of our feel-good hormones, all of the hormones in the body aren't able to function properly if they're doing that to us. They also release ammonia in our system, which depletes GABA. And GABA is one of the feel-good hormones, again, the ones that, you regulate emotions and you act normally. That makes a really big difference when there's ammonia in your system and you're not able to function properly.
Yeah. I'm just looking at the people on Facebook as well. Yeah, it's so interesting that there's so many things that we can be affected by. And because we have all these exposures constantly in our system, that's why we want to maintain our health by getting rid of toxins, getting rid of any of the heavy metals and the parasites in our system. Because when they're in our system, they can lay thousands and thousands of eggs because they want to survive. That's their goal. They want to live, they want to thrive. And if you're consuming a lot of things that they're going to be in uncooked meats, red meats, they're on your veggies, they are in sushi, sorry to say for those who love sushi, they're practically everywhere. So it's just a matter of keeping the balance in your system. It's always about balance and supporting your immune system. Pardon me. And where was I going with that? The eggs, they want to survive. So if you're not handling issues in your body now, we always talk about that. Why are you waiting to handle your health or take care of your health? The best time to do that is right now. And parasites is one of those ways you can improve your health.
Yeah, absolutely. Something I experienced in the past, we're talking about parasites. I mean, everyone has a story once you start to realize, like, holy crap, is that why? I was tested because I work with a quantum practitioner as well. And I still have a parasite on my finger. I work with a quantum practitioner as well. And I had a really hard time with sleep. And I was waking up every night at like 3 o'clock in the morning, which is typically, if you look at the Chinese organ clock, it's liver time that I was waking up. But we were trying to figure out why. And she tested, this is gross, I'll warn you. She tested and she said I had parasite larvae in my pineal gland. And the pineal gland is what's responsible for making melatonin. So if you're not sleeping, there could be something parasite related. They can end up in any part of your body. They're not just in your digestive tract. And that's why a lot of the times people will go for parasite tests and they'll either do blood work or they'll do a stool sample. And these are often missed. They may not show up in blood work if they're in one of your organs, if they're in a certain part of your body, and in the stool sample as well. Like we've heard stories about someone went and you poop in a box, basically. Doesn't sound very fun.
No, it doesn't.
But they went in with their stool sample and there was a parasite like literally sitting right on top that you could see. And they take this little spoon essentially and scoop a little bit of the poop and they were like, nope, there's no parasites here. And so with quantum nutrition testing, the method of testing that we do, it's frequency based. If there's frequency of parasites in your body, we're able to find that where blood work and stool samples may completely miss it. And so, this is what's helpful for helping people get better is figuring out what's going on in your body. Where is the imbalance? What's the cause of the imbalance? And what does your body need to get back to where it's supposed to be so you can function properly again?
And one of the big things right now, because I think mostly North America does Halloween, and that's coming up on, what day is
Monday.
that? Tuesday?
No, I don't know. Tuesday.
Tuesday. One of the days next week, early next week. And with that, which is kind of fun because the full moon's around that time as well, I guess, to add to the atmosphere and excitement for the kids. What is the biggest driver for parasites? What do they thrive on?
Sugar.
What perfect timing for them.
Yeah, full moon around Halloween. Oh man. Yeah, I mean sugar, they grow and they feed off sugar, and that's what helps them become more of a problem for you as well. Alcohol is another big one. Most of the kids aren't going to be dealing with that, but
hope so.
Alcohol, there's a lot of sugar content in there as well. So if you're consuming sugar and alcohol, you're feeding your parasite population. And a lot of the times the cravings, if you have cravings for sugar, it might not actually be you craving the sugar. It might be the parasites demanding the sugar. And because they can eat our neurotransmitters, they change the way we behave. They change the way we think and act. And this is why we need to make sure that we're giving the body the support it needs to deal with them, because your life will be different.
Mm-hmm. Very much so. I'm still amazed because this is something I'm working on myself. I am constantly amazed the amount of parasites that come out of my body. This might be a big share for some people or too much of a share, but my God, the amount of flukes and worms that have been coming out of me this week is just mind-boggling. And to think, like, how long have these things been in my body for? It's just insane. And what are they doing in there? They're causing all sorts of issues. And I think mainly, I know I've been tested and my liver has been an issue. And that's one of the places that flukes like to hang out. They kind of, gallbladder, liver kind of thing. And they're just causing havoc. So it's just, I was saying this to my practitioner this morning. It's unbelievable how many just keep coming out of my body. So if you're
in more than a year,
yeah, it's been a year and a half so far, I think. And it's just insane. I can't believe it.
How big can they get?
The worms? Oh my God. They can be, I think I read up to like 20 feet, more than 20 feet long, and they can live in your body for
30 years.
About, insane number like that. Can you imagine you've had this roommate your entire life and you had no idea they were there?
And eating all your food and not paying rent?
Jerks.
They are jerks.
Yeah. So they can get anywhere in your body. They can cause all sorts of problems. If you're dealing with any of the symptoms that we've talked about, headaches, anxiety,
low iron,
constipation, diarrhea,
skin problems.
Oh yes, that's right. How could I forget that one? I had that issue too. Let's add that to the list.
Yeah. A lot of the times if you have cysts on your body, if you have tumors, if you have,
that's a good point.
What's the other one? The growths any mass in your body, the body is always trying to keep you safe and
Mhm.
protect you. So it will actually encapsulate things that don't belong there. And parasites is a really big one. And there's been, I mean, you can Google it and see there's times where they think it's a brain tumor and the surgeon actually goes in and takes it out of the person's body and goes to do the pathology on it
Mhm.
and open it. And it's like a ball of parasites that the body has actually encapsulated to keep you safe.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, if you have cysts on your body, your body might be trying to get rid of them, or it may be encapsulating them as well. So they can come out your skin, they can come out your nose.
Yes.
People have thrown them up, which is like my worst nightmare. I'd rather poop them out. It's disgusting still, but at least
Yes. It's
you're
kind
supposed to poop. So there's
Yes.
that. If you're doing a navage, so you're doing a sinus rinse, they can come out there. They can come out your ears. There's so many ways that they can come out of the body. And ultimately, what is better out than in, right? That's
Yeah.
the classic Shrek line. And that's the whole thing, is we want to make sure that we're giving your body the support that it needs so that you can manage them and get rid of them so that you can stay healthy.
Now that we've thoroughly grossed
Disgusted
out people, if you're dealing with any of the symptoms that we've mentioned, and maybe you're curious about how, if you have them, which if you have a pulse, you have parasites, pretty much.
Pretty much.
That's pretty much guaranteed. But if you're dealing with any of those symptoms and you're curious to find out more about how to work with us, how can they do that?
You can, if you're on Instagram, you can grab the link in our bio. There'll be a spot there where you can book a free discovery call, or you can book an assessment. The assessment is where we're going to send you some paperwork to figure out what's going on with you and then do testing for you. We do quantum nutrition testing, so it's all about frequency, as I mentioned, and testing the frequency of your body to see what organs and glands are working properly and what ones are not functioning optimally. Because if an area is not functioning optimally, we need to figure out why. And that's been a frustration. I mean, medicine has a very valuable purpose and times where it's necessary. But when it comes to things that just keep coming back or that aren't going away, we need to find out the cause rather than just put a Band-Aid on it. And that's what we do with quantum nutrition testing. So click the link in our bio if you're on Instagram. And yeah, you can either book a free discovery call or an assessment with us. And otherwise, if you're watching on LinkedIn or Facebook or YouTube, send us a message. Or
there should be links in the About section for Facebook.
Yeah, and I'll put it in the captions on YouTube and the other places as well, so you can check things out and figure out if we're a good fit for you. And yeah.
One thing I'm going to jump back to that Kate said is very important. We look for the cause. We look to find solutions for those causes. We're not just a Band-Aid approach. Because any approach where you're not dealing with the cause is a Band-Aid approach, natural or otherwise.
Yeah.
And how long have you been dealing with these symptoms? How long have you been doing the same thing and not getting a better result? Do you want to be better? Mm-hmm. Do you really want to work on your health? This is something we can help you with. So if you want to get to a better place, you want to be able to enjoy your life, what does that look like for you without these symptoms? Can you imagine your life without having the symptoms you have right now?
Amazing, right?
This is something that we can help with.
I sleep amazing now, just so you know. I dealt with these guys, and now I sleep amazing. So, I mean, it's all possible.
It is possible.
It's like a quick and easy call to do a discovery call with us and figure out if this is the right fit for you. But yeah.
Yeah, we have a few spots for discovery calls. So if that's something you're interested in, please look into that right now. And if you can't find the information, just send us a message. We'll help you out. All right. So I guess that's all we have for today. Thanks everyone for tuning in, and everyone who watches on the replay. Have an amazing weekend and great, I was going to say Thanksgiving. We're a little late on that one. Have a great Halloween to all the kids and the people out there. Enjoy.
Bye.